Okay, so we are continuing in the Rambam in Matnos Aniyim Perek Yud. Because we missed a couple of days, I don't know if we're going to finish by the time we get break, but whatever. We'll talk about it later. L'olam eino adam ma'ani min tzedakah. Did you know that? A person will never become poor from tzedakah. Ve'ein davar ra v'lo hezek niglal bishvil tzedakah. And nothing bad and no harm will come about as a result of tzedakah. Shneimar, as it says, v'haya ma'aseh tzedakah shalom. As it says in Yeshayahu 32:17, and the act of tzedakah is peace. Yeah.
I assume that means if you do it within the proper amount.
I think we have to assume that it is talking about if you follow it, Hilchos, because otherwise the Rabbanan wouldn't have had to impose the limit on people becoming poor from tzedakah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you're giving more than the chomet, then it's no longer tzedakah.
It's no longer tzedakah?
Would it be called the shem tzedakah if you're giving?
I think it would still be tzedakah. It's just that you're violating the Sigui of the Chachamim. What?
There? So you say it would still be called tzedakah?
I think so. I don't see how it couldn't be called tzedakah if it is, de machshavah lo, fulfilling needs. I think so. Yeah, I think the burden of proof is on you that it's not called tzedakah. But yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is obviously a problematic statement, right? I mean, even if we assume that everything is through, even if we assume that this is talking about tzedakah halachically, like proper tzedakah, right? I mean, these guarantees, like, it sounds a little extreme. And if you're going to say, if you take this too far, then you end up saying a thing. Like, you can't take this too far to the point where you'll say this about any mitzvah, right? Because it's specifically about tzedakah. Yeah.
Also, I mean, I know like we're in Hilchos tzedakah.
Yeah.
When he's doing it, but I feel like you don't need the first part of this halacha. Why'd you say ein davar ra?
Right, and hezek, yeah. Right, that's a good point. Right, unless hezek means damage, as opposed to loss. Right, yeah. I think yeah. If I'm saying that if hezek means anything bad, I guess davar ra, yes, right, davar ra is also bad, yeah. That's true. Yeah, it's a good point. So my guess, and let's investigate this, is that it's two different members of Chazal, which you can. It doesn't entirely solve the problem, but it would explain why. Oh, we're on the wrong parak. We were in Zion for so long. Let's see. Nope, looks like it's one statement. Let's look at it inside anyway. I bet the tzedakah is going to come with a bunch. Tzedakah. Not at all. Wait. Shalom. What do we have? Shalom. Is it taking me to the right place? Hold on here. The olam. My name is. All right. Let's look at the Kesef Mishnah. That's not it. That's not it either. What about the Ravaz? Bava Kama Parakama. Let's just look up Vahaya Maaseh Hatzdaka. Okay. Tamudim Bava Basra. Kalarabasi. This is not it. Okay, I thought this would be easier to find. Let me pause it. You know what? Let's do this. Let's read the next. Let's read the next one and then think about both of them. And I could look it up tomorrow if need be. Kol merachim merachmin alav. Anyone who has mercy, then mercy will be had upon him. Shneimar v'nasam lecha rachmim v'richamecha v'hirbecha. As it says, what is the context of that? Dvarim Yud Gimel Yud Ches. I'm just going to look that up in Yud Ches, Yud Gimel Yud Ches. Is that 8 Kiv? No, it's Re'eh. 13, 18. Weird. This is talking about the Irhani Dachas?
What?
Okay, and it says, That's the wayward city, the city that all goes to worship. I'll read the whole paragraph in English. If in one of your cities that Hashem your God gives you, in which you dwell, you hear saying, quote, lawless men have emerged from your midst, and they have caused the dwellers of the cities to go astray, saying, quote, let us go and worship the gods of others that you have not known, end quote, end quote. You shall seek out and investigate and inquire well, and behold, it is true. The word is correct. This abomination was committed in your midst. You shall smite the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, lay it waste and everything that is in it, and its animals with the edge of the sword. You shall gather together all its booty into the midst of the open square. You shall burn it in fire completely, the city and all its booty to Hashem, your God, and it shall be an eternal heap. It shall not be rebuilt. Here's our pasuk now. No part of the banned property may adhere to your hand, so that Hashem will turn back from his burning wrath, and he will give you mercy and be merciful to you and multiply you as he swore to your forefathers. What does that have to do with being merachim on people? Why is and when you hearken to the voice of Hashem your God to observe all his commandments that I command you today to do what is right in the eyes of Hashem your God. What? Wait, let me read that again in Hebrew. Nothing shall cling to your hand from the cherem, from the contraband. So that God will turn back from his burning wrath. And he will give you mercy, and have mercy upon you. Right? Yeah, and he will multiply you. That seems to have nothing to do with what he's saying. The pasuk is not even talking about human beings doing rachamim, and even the context of understanding about God doing rachamim is difficult because it's talking about, all right, so city worshippers of Avodah Zarah, right? We kill all of them, and then if we don't take from the property, then God will have mercy on us and turn his wrath back. But like, why was his wrath going to be on us in the first place? Yeah,
because I think maybe this division of us and them is a division. Like, true, it's a city, but it's also a city in Israel. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, that's a good inroad.
Like a city is still part of the whole. Like,
yeah,
like the whole still allowed this to happen.
Right. That's good. That's a good inroad. Not that we want to inroad into the halachos, but contemporary inroad. Yeah.
I propose something perhaps radical.
Sure.
I feel like this always happens.
Yeah.
And I think the way that the Rambam cites psukim is very different than the way that we think that he cites psukim.
Okay.
Or maybe even very different the way that almost everyone else does. I think it's something that we don't understand. Like we meaning most people.
Yeah.
And I think probably would need to be looked more into. Because I feel like this always happens. This always comes up in the Mishnah Torah, where he cites something, you're like, this has nothing to do with what he's talking about.
Okay. I mean, I think that is exactly why we should ask this question and go into it.
But honestly, I think it's a larger issue. It's not just, I don't think you can just go point like pasuk by pasuk. I think the very way in which he uses citations
could be. I mean, definitely in the more Nevuchim, then that's the case. But I feel like there should be some shot here that it shouldn't be completely.
I mean, the Rambam granted says that you need to know the whole Torah also. Yeah. But he's not expecting you to go to the Gemara or
Right.
He's expecting you to
know the Torah Shebiksav and Torah Shebiksav. Right. Yeah. Wow, this is bizarre. Okay. Yeah.
I have a question on the halacha in general. What's this doing?
Oh yeah, hold on. Yeah, so we didn't finish the halacha. V'chol mishu achzari ve'eno merachim. So anyone who is cruel and is not merciful, yachush liyichuso. We should be wary is a good word. Yeah, the Makbili says Yivdok Shema Eno Miser Yisrael. We should check and see, maybe he's not a Jew. Maybe he's not like actually a doesn't have like actual Jewish blood. She'ein ha'achzaris mitzui el bagoyim. Because just got demonetized from YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. Achzarius is only found among the goyim. Shnemar, as it says, Achzari hema v'lo yirachemu. That they are cruel and they do not have mercy. Yeah. So it is. So you're right. When you first read the first sentence in the halacha, it does not sound like it's even talking about tzedakah. It's talking about rachamim. And the funny thing also is like rachamim. Like, yeah, when you give tzedakah, you should do it with rachamim, but tzedakah is an institution of tzedakah, not of rachamim, Those are different meters of Kodesh Baruch Hu. Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's a good question. Let's just look at the Makbilis here. This is an Easter Biאה. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's read this inside. Yud Tes Yud Zayin 3. Yud Tes Easter Biאה. Yud Tes Yud Zayin 3. This is the Freudian halakha. Okay. Kol mishpachos b'cheskas kashrus. So all families are have the presumed status of being kosher. Mutter lisa mehen l'chatchila, and it's mutter to marry into them l'chatchila. So this is kosher here is in terms of being legitimate part of the congregation of Israel in terms of marriage laws. Okay. The alpha bichain, nevertheless, imra isa shtei mishpachos shemizgaros zo bezo tamid. If you see two families that are quarreling with each other constantly, like the Capulets and the Montagues, is that okay? Oh, reisa mishpacha shi ba'alas matzah umariva tamid. Okay, it's not talking about the Manischewitz. Okay, it's talking about if you see a family that is ba'alas matzah means that they are full of strife. Okay, that they're and mariva constantly. Mariva is quarreling. Oh, reisa ish shu marbe mariva imakol. If you see a guy who picks fights with everybody, who's like contentious with everybody, the panim bioser, and you see that he is exceedingly cruel. Choshishin lahen, we worry about them. V'roy lehizrachim man, and we should distance ourselves from them. She'elu mine paslanos hein. These are types of invalidation. Okay, so I don't know all the halakhic ramifications of this, but he's talking about like avoiding marrying them. Okay, then here's the
make you puzzle it?
Yichus, in terms of like I guess
As a Jew?
That's what it sounds like he's saying, but I don't have enough feeling to help me. Then he says,
No, you said
I didn't know that could happen.
yeah, let's see. I would want to see some Makartim on this just to get it straight. So too, anyone who invalidates others constantly, like he casts like aspersions on families, like he says, like this family's like, got this defect, or on individuals. He says about people that they're mamzerin. We worry about him that maybe he's a mamzer. And if he says that they're slaves, if he's always accusing other people of being slaves, we suspect maybe he's a slave. Yeah, right. Shakola posel b'mumahu posel. That's the line. Anyone who invalidates others, he's really invalidating his own blemish. This projection. Yeah.
It kind of sounds like a lates.
Yes, yeah, definitely. That's what the Rabbeinu Yonah says explicitly about the lates, that because he's so or his inability to see his own, he makes fun of others because he doesn't want to look at his own faults. Yeah. And then here's the halacha that Makbila was referencing. Anyone who has brazenness and cruelty. Interesting. The Dufa says and cruelty. The sona es abrios, and he hates people. But ino goma lahen.
No, they say or, no?
Yeah, they say or. Yeah, or says and. The sona es abrios ve'ino goma lahen chesed, and he hates people and he doesn't do chesed with them. Choshishin lo bioser shema givonihu. We worry exceedingly about him. We assume he might be a Gibeonite. Yeah. But don't call him a Gibeonite, because then we'll assume you're a Gibeonite. Shesimani Yisrael ha'uma ha'kadosha b'yishanim rachmanim gon lechasanim. That's people quote that one a lot, right? That the signs of the Jewish nation of the holy Jewish nation are that they are b'yishanim. Here does not mean embarrassed, like modest, right? They're modest, they're merciful, and they are gomel chesed. Uvegivonim hu omer, and by the Gibeonites it says hagivonim lo mi bnei Israel hima. It says that the Gibeonites are not from bnei Israel. So I guess we assume that the opposite. Lefisha he'izu es pneihem v'lo nispaisu v'lo richamu bnei Shaul, because they were brazen. I don't know the story because I don't know Shaul. They were brazen and they were not appeased, and they did not show mercy to bnei Shaul. V'lo zachru liYisrael chesed limchol libnei Malkam, and they did not recall chesed for Israel to pardon the children of their king. V'him asu imahim chesed v'hachiyum v'hechim tchila, and they did chesed with them and sustain them first. Yeah, okay, fine. And it goes on about other stuff like that. Yeah. So what I'm getting out of this, I know there's a lot of like other questions that were raised, but when he says that we're kosher to the yichus, we really mean we're kosher for yichus. Like Ram's not saying that like, oh, you're not acting Jewish. Like he's saying, no, like we actually are kosher for yichus. Shnemar achzari v'chulei b'yachas l'Yisrael b'ksav yad acherim bo pasuk acher achzarihu v'lo yirachimu. That's Yirmiyahu Vav Chav Gimel. It's but it's this is achzarihu v'lo yirachimu. So it's a different pasuk earlier in the parak. No, different parak altogether. Shemashma uso b'yachasam l'goyim acherim in relation to other goyim. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, my guess is the reason. Just to answer your question, Chaim, the reason that this is in Hilchos, what do you call it? Oh, he's going to go on. Oh, we should just read this, and let's go back and think about it tomorrow. Kol Yisrael, because this is the end of where the doofus printers divided. Kol Yisrael v'hanil v'alehem ka'achim heim. All of Israel and those who are dependent on them. I think that's referring to Gerim. Yeah, Gerim. They are like brothers. Shnemar, as it says, Bani matem l'Hashem l'keichem, as it says, you are children to Hashem, your God. Im lo yirachem ha'ach al achiv, mi yirachem alav. If one brother will not be merciful to another brother, who will be merciful to him? Ulumi ani Yisrael nosim anehim. To whom do the poor Jews lift their eyes? Halagoyim shesonim osan brotim acharim. Is it to the goyim who hate them and chase after them? Ha'ininem tlius ela lachem. Their eyes are only turned towards their brothers. I thought he was going to say it to God, but yeah. Okay, we got our work cut out for us. All right, so let's just review. The main questions are going to be, how can he make these grand promises, right? I do want to understand how this puzzle fits in, and then what is this idea of suspecting someone's yichus? I mean, almost. I'm going to state this as like a straw man, but just to, Rambam says in Deos that your Deos are in your Bechira, right? So like, why don't we say, okay, fine, this guy's cruel, but he developed his character that way. Like what, to me, the basis for questioning someone's yichus to me would have to be some evidence about their sexual relationships, not just the fact that they have bad midos. So it's like an extreme sort of thing.
But he also says that like different people will be inclined to different ways.
That is true.
So
that is true.
It could be. I mean, I don't think this is true, but it could be that you'd say that people of certain types, certain ethnic groups are going to be inclined broadly towards one way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the
crazy thing. But
yeah. No. I think just to give an example of that, because I was just talking about this with someone, is I was telling them how my grandmother, is being cared for by like these Filipino, husband and wife who are nurses, and like we got into this whole discussion. Like it's apparently a thing that Filipinos. What? Oh yeah, Filipinos though apparently have this like unanimous reputation for being excellent caregivers, And then someone told me that in Israel, they just call like nurses like the Hebrew word for Filipino, like even if that's not what their their actual ethnic thing is, So like there is such a thing as national traits. And especially, I think we're used to being in a world where there's a lot of mobility and immigration that has occurred in the last like 150 years, But like if you're talking about people who are pretty much staying put for hundreds, if not thousands of years, then like it is not inconceivable that there are national traits that develop, And I think they even say that about the Shvatim, right? Like, I mean, in the thing we were doing about, what was that? Yeah, right, exactly. Like we were just doing in Binyamin, that like I didn't read this from Rashi, but like there are people who say that when Binyamin is compared to a wolf, because like they had certain wolf-like characteristics in terms of like their bravery or their ferociousness, So yeah, so I don't think it's a crazy take, just a politically incorrect one. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's come back to this.
The crazy take would be to say that that's biological. And
correct. Right. Yeah. Okay. Stopping the recording.